I'm your host, Dessie, and you're listening to the Golden Hour podcast, a space for us women to live fully, authentically, and feel at home in body, mind, and soul. Hey, and welcome to the Golden Hour podcast. I'm Dessie, your host, and today I'm sitting down with Christian, my fiance and partner in everything. It's so good to have you again.
Likewise. Thanks for having me also.
We got some really nice messages and we also really enjoyed recording together last time. And so we thought it's time for a second round. And we're just going to talk today about a few topics that are present for us in this season of life. And I've got down some notes of the things that we wanted to talk about, and I'm going to start right in.
Which is weird because usually I'm the one with the list.
That's true.
But now you have the list.
Yeah.
I feel very
That's surprising.
I feel very naked without my list.
Well, today you can.
How does it feel with the list?
It feels very empowering. So you can let loose and let yourself be led today.
Oof.
Yeah. So, first one on my list today is, well, it is the season that we're in, first of all, astrologically and astronomically. Is this the same thing? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, it's the beginning of the astronomical new year, for sure. In this time around spring in the northern hemisphere and Easter, and it is also my birthday just a few days ago. And so what I noticed during this time is that I become very reflective. I start looking back towards the old year and looking at what I've done, what I've managed to do, what I've not managed to do. Who am I? How have I changed? And oftentimes it is a whirlpool of emotions.
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind. Thank you.
Whirlwind? Why
Yeah.
whirlwind?
Because it feels like big ups and downs, and feels like episodes of gratitude. And then also the inner critic comes in every now and then, because I start, realizing what I haven't managed to do that I have wanted to do. And so I feel like really, during this time of the year, I really appreciate a little bit of pep talk, and sometimes can be a pep talk from myself, but just really taking care of myself and making sure that I'm nourished. Or sometimes I also appreciate it from outside as well. But I'm wondering, is this just the time of the year, or is it because of my birthday? Do you feel like this during this time of the year? And do you feel something like this around your birthday, which is in midsummer?
Yeah. So I personally think that it connects, for you especially, it connects with that your birthday is around this time of the year. So I can, like, how I experience it is a bit different. So when I look back, for example, the birthday last year or 2 years ago, I had a tendency to feel quite depressed before and on the day, like, oh my God, what have you done? Also acknowledging the good things, but I kind of experienced the same, like you shared, this looking back and looking at all the photos, wondering, oh, where did time go? Another year, oh, so many things have happened, so many things that I didn't anticipate happened, and some of them that I kind of wanted to happen. Like it was a very weird sensation. This is, and my birthday is in July, so this is in summer.
Yeah.
But what I do personally feel now in spring is just this vibe of everything waking up. And I mean, we see it outside, the birds start chirping, the flowers are blooming, the trees are the leaves start to grow, and I feel it's a very disruptive and strong, powerful vibe. Like how I experience this time of the year is that this is actually the beginning of the year, and not this crap 1st of January that I don't even know where this comes from.
Yeah.
Who came up with this?
Gregory, someone.
Okay.
It's the Gregorian.
We gotta talk to
That's
that.
how it's named, the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, we gotta talk to that guy because it makes no sense. I remember especially this year. It's interesting how angry I get about it when I share it in the moment. But I remember this year, in 1st of January, I went on LinkedIn and I saw the typical 1st of January, let's crush it, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like, dude, I feel so in wintering mode. I don't want to crush it now. It's not the time to crush it. If I look outside, it's not the time.
Yeah.
And I feel, yeah, this is how I experience it.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically if we would be the ones to judge after, it's not the being down part is connected to the birthday, and then spring comes in, and that creates quite logically a whirlwind of emotions. That makes sense.
Yeah, and also the environment shapes your perception. So when you're in this environment of everything's growing and everything's blooming, and you see also the new emerging, then I think this can have an effect on you. When also then there's your birthday, I think it can amplify that. When you think of, okay, wow, there is so much new and something new is growing, and you reflect on, okay, what is growing in my life, and then you maybe, if the inner critic is strong, at times then you see, maybe some things grow slower than you want to, or some things grow in ways that you don't want at all, or these kind of things.
Yeah, well, definitely.
It's quite philosophical, but this is, I think, what it could be.
There have been some things where I had to reflect back and be like, well, I wish, I would have, or no, I wish I would have. I fully believe that everything's happened exactly as it should have. And at the same time, there is a certain, there is an acknowledgement of, okay, well, this didn't happen. That was on my list or agenda, so to say. Like this retreat, I didn't pull it through. It didn't happen. Like it would have been nice for sure.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, that last year I would have liked to organize a retreat and I didn't.
Yeah.
So that. And so, yeah, that's that. And at the same time,
At the same time?
There's a lot of gratitude that is here for everything that is here. And I think there's something honestly like very auspicious about the fact that we bombard each other with love on our birthdays. Because have you heard about the studies that the suicide rates in the week before one's birthday are the highest?
I haven't heard, but I can imagine.
Yeah, there's really like a... I cannot cite it right now, but like I'm pretty sure that I've read it and this is the case. That is very common. And then we literally like celebrate all over the world our birthdays, like the heart is like woo, and like bombard each other with love, and that makes that's nice. I don't know if that's somehow.
What do you think?
I wonder if this is connected.
I mean, I think that people are not bombarded with love. They are given attention, a brief glimpse of attention, and oftentimes it comes with the intention of acknowledging and loving the person. But in order to be loved, we need more than just once a year an acknowledgement. So it can be part of. I'm not saying that people who have good wishes or send someone happy birthday that they don't mean it. For sure they mean it, but love is also is connected with. I think is there's some continuity to it, some sort of relationship that you have, and something that you that is nourishing also. And then I feel it's a bit. There has to be this day that where we say it's the birthday, where we basically jump from 0 to 1, which is also very debatable because you're in the womb, which is also, do you exist or
but
no?
you come into this.
You come into this kind of
3D.
thing, so but it's an idea, right? It's not like, okay, there's for a fact nothing and then there's something, but it's just an idea that we come up with and we say, okay, I learned this from this, the first time from the teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, who talks about continuation day and not birthday.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Which that's why I shared this. It's not my idea, just like
I've heard about that, yeah.
marinated on that a little bit, and I really like it. And so I think when we understand that also the idea of the birthday is a nice idea, and we somehow, there's the commercial side to it, which makes us spend money on stuff that we want to give then to someone, oftentimes useful and sometimes not so useful, doesn't matter, don't want to judge anyone. But there is this, I think we as human beings, I personally think that this one day can put so much perceived pressure on someone. Imagine you don't have so many friends. And then you already, and I think this ties to what you said before why the suicide rates are higher. People become aware of their loneliness more. It's my assumption. I certainly do. Think more of, okay, who is actually in my life? Who can I call? Who is close by? Who can I go for a coffee with? And when you take this time to step out of that, out of the autopilot of life, and you realize, okay, how strong or how is my actual web of human connections? How does it look like? And then you maybe see it's quite thin or broken. Some parts are broken. I think that can put a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And at the same time, I believe and know that there's so much that one can, to go for depth and instead of quality.
Yeah.
It's so much more important.
Yeah.
And so for anybody who is struggling with something like this, I believe it's so important to turn to the people that are already in your life, because so often we don't even realize, we don't know, and we may never have heard it from these people, how much we mean for people around us, how they feel when they are in our company. People often have a hard time expressing those things, and so maybe even a family member or somebody who you see every day, you don't know how much it means to them to know you. Sometimes even the salesperson in the store, you don't know, they notice you. It was so funny, but we had this situation in Varna where we went to this bakery all over and over again, and we love it there. It's the best place on earth, and we always enjoyed so much seeing the salesperson. But it's a salesperson, so you don't know if they notice you as much as you notice them, right? So we were like, oh, that was great. And then we left Varna. And 1.5 months later, we passed by Varna, and we go to our favorite bakery again. And the woman in there was like, oh, where have you been?
Yeah, kind of like this I'm glad you're okay kind of vibe.
She was literally like, I'm glad you're alive. We got worried and we were like, what? She even noticed us. Like, we knew that she noticed us, but it's like this, like you know somebody notices you, but you don't know that they are gonna miss you if you're not there.
Yeah, you don't know they care.
Yeah, you don't know they care. So that applies also to friends, that applies to family, that applies to acquaintances. And I think it's so important to sometimes address such things, ask if you have the opportunity or create the opportunity. And literally just ask someone like
Yeah.
how they feel about you.
Or
I-
sorry, can I add something?
Yeah.
Because I feel like with this whole birthday thing, obviously it's great to. I really want to emphasize that because I'm not sure if that came across. Like, it's amazing to wish someone the best for their birthday, and I think we should keep doing it and prioritize it. And if we can, send an audio message or call them, because just seeing that someone called is already showing, hey, someone really makes time to. And if you can't, then send a message. Doesn't matter really. So it's not that sending messages on a birthday is a bad thing, but sometimes I feel that we are being trained to wait for that day in order to express the gratitude and the love, and or same with like Christmas or some the Baba Marta in Bulgaria this day in March.
Yeah, just the certain holidays.
Certain holidays where all of a sudden everyone wishes each other love and gratitude and health. But what about the rest? And so I think there is always the space to acknowledge someone else. We just need to make it a priority,
Yeah, so
and we
true.
often don't. And I didn't for years, until I don't even know why, but I somehow naturally started to to express appreciation to friends and strangers
Yeah.
in random ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the street, sometimes I call someone, sometimes I text them.
I really admire this about you, by the way. It's one of your
Thank you.
one of your qualities I really, really look up to.
It took me a while to. I want to share it because I feel it has been the thing that held me back the most. Was I had this urge to share it. Okay, I love you. I appreciate you. I am grateful that you did this, or I'm grateful for you. Da, da, da. And then I thought, who am I to say to someone else that I did this? Like, who am I to share with
share
you?
it, yeah.
Hey, I actually, like, if you ask me, hey, what did you do this morning? Well, I spent half an hour to text some of my friends and ask them how they are, really. I would feel bad about it, kind of like bragging, like as if I'd be
You're such a great person.
the great person and everyone else is not, which is crap, obviously. But I feel,
Yeah.
there is something that it is just so. I realize this when I'm in a bad place, and sometimes I get a message from someone. It is just an immediate uplift, like 10x better. Just knowing that someone cares
Yeah.
about you,
Yeah.
and then doing it
Yeah.
brings, at least for me, it brings immediate, immense joy.
I know that you did this for my birthday, and you basically, this is beautiful because I was lucky that you did this for me, and you asked some friends to record and family members messages for me to express appreciation. And this was one of the best gifts I've received, ever, for sure. Yeah, because I definitely needed it in this moment. Somehow it was divine timing. And also, it's all that life is about, isn't it? It's free, and it's,
Why did you need it?
well, because of the things that I shared before, that I've had, I've reflected, and I had a bit of an up and down days just before my birthday. So, and with, like moving around the world in the last years, I often question, am I being a good friend? Am I being present for people that I appreciate and love? Because I know that I'm doing my best, and sometimes I wonder, is it enough? And so it's a reminder that it's
Enough as in communicating
Enough.
more frequently, or
yeah, for example, yeah, and so that's just at this moment it felt like a confirmation. it is enough what you do. You are doing the best you can, and you're just existing and being in people's lives as you are is enough. Yeah. And we already talked about that, but I had written this down. You like asking the question, how are you really? And I think this is very refreshing. I think I appreciate that, and people around you appreciate that. Why do you do that?
Because I struggle with the answers that people say when they say, "How are you?" It's I remember a time I was very almost upset when someone said, "How are you?" Good. And I remember the first time when I traveled to the US, there was because it's a different culture and I wasn't familiar with it at all. And I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I was so sharing how I was really doing until I realized no one really asked the question because they want to understand how I'm doing. But it's just
so funny.
it's a way to connect.
Yeah.
I remember this vividly. It was some sneaker store.
Yeah.
With the greeter in the beginning, when they opened the door.
Funny. That's
Hey,
so
how are you doing? And I was like, hey, good. How are you? And I feel it's very tricky because it also really very much depends on the context. And I thought for a long time you can only have these a little deeper conversations when you have 2 hours of time. Because obviously if you ask someone, hey, how are you? And if, I don't know, someone died the day before, they have to work and kind of hold it all together. If they would go full on, they would just maybe burst in tears and struggle to manage something. This specific, I just made this up. It didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
But I feel that when we give someone else the space to vent a little bit and to vent shortly, and to not expect anything, and it has a lot to do with the own attitude and expectation, and also to accept that someone might struggle with that, with the answer of how are they really, maybe they don't know. It's very hard to, when you're in the doing of life, it's hard to answer that, because you have to tune into, if you ask yourself how are we, you have to tune into how you feel. And when you are very stressed, usually you don't want to feel that. So you do everything you can to kind of hold it down or to avoid it. So you have to connect with that feeling. And if you haven't done that, and if you haven't established the training, the mental muscle to do that, it's hard. So, but I still do it. To answer the question, I do it because I believe the quality of life experience is better if we see each other for who we really are and for what is happening. And one of my good friends, Erhan from Turkey, he shared with me, and I remember this vividly. At one time, we were on a call, and I asked him, "How are you?" And he said, "I feel," and then I said, "I feel calm, I feel content." And I said, "That's very interesting. You answered the question with "I feel." And I think this can be, since then I'm training. If someone asks me, "Hey, how are you?" I used to say, "Good, how are you?" But now I try to practice to say, "I feel." And oftentimes I see myself sitting and being like, "Fuck, I don't know how I feel." But then something comes up and then you feel excited. And then it gives someone else the opportunity to ask, "Hey, why do you feel excited?" Or what do you feel
really
excited
cool.
about? And then I can share my story.
Yeah, that's really cool. And also it creates a little bit of distance between you and the feeling. Like you're not the feeling, but the feeling is there.
Yeah. It's a total difference and I've learned this from you actually, when you say, because I used to say I'm scared. Oh, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And then I remember you telling me, but what if you say I feel scared? Or I experience fear.
There is,
And then you create that, as you say, then you create that distance, and then all of a sudden you kind of train yourself that you are not it. I'm sorry, and then it becomes much easier to navigate.
Oh, that's beautiful.
How is that for you? When you meet your friends or when you're on calls.
I wanted to share that. something about that in regards to vulnerability, because I noticed that sometimes I struggle even with close friends, struggle with, I wish to go deeper into the conversation. And I noticed something that helps me, and that's basically leading with vulnerability. I noticed that if I notice myself struggling in like the environment or like with staying too much on the surface, like I share what's present for me. And I noticed that every time, without an exception, this creates the space for other people around me to share
Are you not
something vulnerable
like
as
I have
well.
never asked you, like, are you not scared to, I don't know, you share something vulnerable or something that's maybe a bit on the, not on the edge, but something that you don't tell everyone. Then you share it in the coffee place and then radio silence. Have you never, did that ever cross your mind?
Well, no, not really.
No?
I think, yes, like depending on who you're sitting with and the one situations you are, there is of course always a risk that you might not be understood or heard, or people don't connect with what you're saying. And I believe that everyone carries this sort of intuition within themselves to read the environment they're in and feel if they feel safe to share something. And then I'm sure that you're gonna be totally fine, because we usually feel and we know if we feel safe. So I'm not saying everybody should go around and share vulnerabilities in every room, in environments where you don't feel safe. I believe that you're gonna know that, and like depending on the people you're with and the situation you're with, that's where it's a good moment to do that.
How do, if I may, like, I really want to know, how do you, when you say you know you're safe, can you recall that the visceral sensation in the body, or because how do you know you're safe? Like for someone who is like completely in the head and or not completely, but tend to think a lot and then you're like, oh, I don't know, like how do you personally, when you think, because I know intuitively you just know or not, you don't, like you just know it. But if you reflect back on the last time you shared something like vulnerable, do you remember how that felt in the body, or what your perception of that situation was?
Usually I feel tense before that, and then I lose some tension. I've noticed how even in my body it becomes softer, and I just feel like I can exhale and I can relax, and it feels warm in my body to be able to be open and be not carry something that like I struggle with, just but be able to share it.
Interesting. So warmth. Very interesting.
Yeah. The sun is set.
Is this the time?
if yeah, well, somebody might be listening to this, but we're also on video, and like now we've lost the sun. But I think we have a few more minutes that we can use to talk about something else that I've written down in my list. And that is, well, I've wanted to talk about something, and we've talked about this many, many times between each other. It's a practice, and it has completely changed my life. I would say maybe it's the biggest, most impactful practice that I've adopted for my life that's helped me get to know myself, that's helped me connect to deeper truths that are accessible to me. And that's journaling. And
When did you start?
when did I start journaling? Well, I started journaling with 11 years of age.
Do you remember your first entry?
I do
The
remember.
very first entry?
I do remember it.
What did you write?
I do. Well, so I started journaling at the age of 11 years after reading a book. And I just thought about it yesterday, and during a yin yoga session, I managed to remember the name of this book. My parents had bought 2 books for both me and my brother, and they were called Diaries of Little Freaks. There was a he version in blue color and the she version in pink.
Oh, really?
I read them both, of course. Yeah, that was amazing. Like, really, so cool of my parents. Like, I have to thank them for this. Like, I haven't thanked them for this. And yeah, they bought us those books, and I read the books, and I got so inspired. I was like, oh my God, because they were written in the form of like a journal written by a
Okay.
teenager.
Okay.
And so I was 11, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm starting this. This is amazing. And I'm just going to do it for myself. And so I started off like this big A4 journal. I still have it right here in the apartment. And
So what did you write?
I wrote about my family. I'm this and that, and this is my brother, and all the weird things about my family and so on. So yeah, that was that. It's almost like I really think that one day I'm gonna write a book based on those. A book. A book based on those journals. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've also promised it to my grandpa who passed away, so
Oh.
yeah.
And your brother? Did he also?
I don't think he started to journal.
Um,
Maybe he should. I will ask.
2 tasks you can ask.
Yeah.
Ask your brother and
Yeah.
thank your parents.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And then I've kept this journal actually throughout my teenage years and even my early 20s. And then there were more journals and so on. And this is a practice that I really have kept almost daily throughout all of those 25 years of my life. And there has been a moment where I went deeper into it. The book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, which is kind of like a tool or a course for people to awaken their creativity. It's really, really cool.
What's cool about it?
Well, it really is a whole course where over 12 weeks you go over different exercises to awaken your dormant artist, so to say. So the basic assumption is that everybody is an artist, and it has 2 main tools that you practice throughout those 12 weeks. One of them is a date with yourself every week, which I love doing. And the other one is journaling 3 pages of free writing every morning upon waking up. And you don't stop until you fill those pages. And
3 pages.
3 pages. And
How big do these pages need to
well, it's doesn't say. so yeah, you can cheat that, I guess. And so this really made me go deeper into this practice, because I was used to journal, and sometimes I would get glimpses of like, oh, I feel like there was something different, especially when I would stay for longer and journal longer. Oftentimes when I'm tired in the night and I would just lose myself in journaling and just journal for a really long time, those deep insights would come, and I would be like, where did this even come from? Like, I don't even know. And it feels almost like guidance that is not mine. It doesn't come from the mind anymore. And I've had those moments before. And with the practice of the morning pages, I found this I've gone even deeper into this, because what the pages do is they force you to write for longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when I do this, there is a moment after thought ends, because you've written down kind of everything that's present in your mind and everything that's needed to get out of your head, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment after this or a possibility that something switches, and suddenly you are in this space of flow where you keep moving the pen on paper. And there's even research about this, and about the power of the speed in which we write that connects to. It has an effect of like calming our nervous system down, and also what I found, it really lets me, and I believe this is possible for everyone, connect to intuition, connect to truth, connect to spirit guides, connect to what is it, God, whatever you believe in, whatever people believe in, to a guiding force that's beyond the mind. Have you experienced that?
I have experienced it a few times. However, I have to say I don't have a regular journaling practice, and I cannot recall. I recall a few times when I had this experience of being written by something and not writing something. A few times. I remember this one time in Ibiza, which was very powerful, when I realized, wow, what just happened? I can't stop. I was like, I can't stop.
I remember you sharing this with me.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't stop. I never looked at those pages again, I have to say. Yeah.
I have to say that.
I don't even know that I don't think, maybe I don't even know if the journal still exists.
I hope it exists. Never lose a journal.
Sure. I might have lost it.
Oh no.
I might have thrown it away.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, but I can definitely relate to the part of. I was on a call on Monday or Tuesday with a consultant I work with as a client, and I also told him, listen, I really appreciate the calls, I appreciate everything, but I appreciate the AI summary of the call. That's great, and I still need to take notes. Mm-hmm. And I realized this for myself, that my productivity, there was a time when I tried to automate everything and just be digital. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. I forget stuff, even though I shouldn't, because this element of, I think the science calls it embodied cognition.
Wow, yeah.
They have a term for it, and we can research more about it. Yeah. It's very cool.
I really want to.
But there is this thing called embodied cognition, when you embody the cognition, embody what you perceive, and what you think, like when you translate the thought into your body and then onto something tangible. This whole thing is doing something, at least I can only tell for myself, like it's doing something to my being that is, first of all, soothing. Second of all, it makes me forget stuff less, which is sometimes really a struggle. Yeah. And also it's slower. Yeah. It's much slower, which is so good, because writing stuff down, the hand gets tired at a point, so you need to stop for a moment. And then you continue when you kind of recovered. So, and I feel with writing on a digital device, I find it much harder to find that boundary.
Yeah, I understand.
I haven't fully thought this through, but there is something there definitely which and just the haptics of it, just
Yeah.
this, feeling the paper,
Yeah.
and there's something to it.
Yeah. And yeah. And regarding, I just thought about advice, like if I have any, because I know that many people struggle with journaling or they don't know what to write, like you just sit there. I've heard this in my circles that I lead, and like I lead journaling practices. And so what I would say is, if you want to try this, to put a timer and just not stop writing, and let this be the only rule, because there is power in this, how did you call it?
Embodied
Cognition, like the movement and the pen and of the pen on paper.
Yeah.
And so even if you don't know what to write, just keep writing. Don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. This sucks. I hate journaling. Whatever it is, just keep on writing. And through staying in this embodied flow, something will start flowing, because there's no other way, because you just keep moving the pen on the paper.
Yeah.
And oftentimes for me, this is where I've really connected to self-love, to real, true self-love, through this process of writing.
How?
I would just notice that when I keep writing and writing, at some point, it's almost like unconditional love starting to speak through that hand. And I would be like, oh, like that's really nice. Like just writing love messages to myself, like
that you wouldn't
I wouldn't
do when you just
normally
begin.
tell myself. No, it's not.
Because I think that's
No.
the interesting thing.
No, I would
so
never
you,
start with
you,
that,
you
like-
don't start your journaling
No.
practice with like
No.
I love myself, blah, blah.
No, I would even start usually with like, oh, this happened and I was really shitty. I wish I would have done that. Like things that I like, maybe bad things or regrets or something that happened. Like we all have, I mean, like everyday situation, just sharing, kind of just letting things
You know
out.
what this reminds me of right now? Because I had to think of putting some clothes in the washing machine later on. And this is something that we usually, I never thought about this, but it's kind of interesting. Like we usually always, when there is dirty clothes, we wash them. We don't wear them, like we wash them. It's very normal if we have and almost everyone here in the Western world has somehow some possibility to wash with soap or washing machine. We have this is accessible. Okay, so we wash it, we do it all the time. And this just reminded me of a very nice washing in a good way, where you kind of get rid of all the dirt through the journaling.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then what comes out is the refreshed, new, with one exception, is that you get something that you didn't know existed before. So it's almost like you put 5 pieces of laundry in, and then you get you take the 5 out, and there is one surprise piece.
An extra piece.
An extra piece, yeah, that you're like, wow, that's really cool.
Fully washed and fresh.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's a really nice way to put it. And also, it's also good to not, I think we've talked about this a lot, but not attaching to the outcome and not expecting it to come. I think the expectation is a big overkill, so to say, to expect, for an insight to come or something to come.
Yeah, I think it's a big blocker that for example, I still face at times when I realize going into this performance mode and wanting to know and wanting to control and kind of doing something. So like doing something for the sake of doing something is very hard, but doing something in order to get something is very easy. This is a very old conditioning, which needs to be deconditioned. And I'm wondering, like, because you seem to do this so naturally, how do you manage that to detach from the outcome? Because I feel you have somehow you're doing something that, yeah, that you're really naturally really good at that.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, what I do is because we've all been there to get into this trap of doing something and expecting the result. And at the same time, I know that the key to every manifestation, and even the key to journaling in this case, and having an insight through journaling, is for me letting go of the outcome. And how I do this,
Yeah, I just wanted to ask.
I'm trying to reflect myself, but I definitely, what I do is, even though I'm not religious, I would pray and actually set an intention. For me, it's kind of a similar thing. I really send energy and intention into that process, whatever I'm doing, for it to be for the highest, not just for me, but for everyone and for the whole, for the whole. And I would ask God, the universe, whatever you believe in, I would ask for God to, and again, I'm not religious, so I'm not envisioning a certain person when I talk about God, and yet I would ask God to bring the best possible outcome, whatever that outcome might be, because I am aware that the best possible outcome might be something that I cannot not even imagine in this moment. So maybe the best possible outcome is something beyond what I can imagine right now.
So it's basically the foundation to be able to let go of the attachment in the journaling is the prayer.
Yes, yet I am aware that that's not what everybody would relate to.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, I would say that setting the intention for whatever comes through to be beneficial, for to be the most beneficial, so to say, is a really good intention and a really good place to start.
Training that also, like doing that regularly.
Yeah, because
so in order for it to have a good foundation.
Yeah, for sure, because this is something that only develops with time. And as with everything, when you start playing the guitar, you have a wish to learn a song, but at the same time, the only thing that matters in the moment is being in the moment and just the next chord. And that's how art is born, really, through actually being there in the process. And it's all that it's about, really. I think there's no great artist who ever started with the wish to create the end result, or be rich and famous or whatever. So I think it's about,
very powerful.
Yeah, I think it's about really being there, present with the process, and trusting and believing that the highest outcome may be something that you cannot even imagine right now. And so letting go in this way, letting go of the end result.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. Like, I just reflect on sitting tonight and then being like, thinking of all the things that I want to, where I attach outcomes to, and then just putting that thought of allowing to say, hey, put this intention of may everything be for the highest, but not with this idea of leaning back and waiting, but kind of like still doing stuff that you feel is inspiring or is good or is the right thing to do, but also knowing that also something completely different can come of it
Yes.
that supports you, I think is very powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
It's
you,
really
Chris.
cool.
I think we
Oh.
should also really wrap this up because it's now pitch dark and cold here. This was such a good conversation, so I thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.